July 20th, 2019. A quiet morning at Sardis Lake, Mississippi. A deputy on patrol makes a chilling discovery. The lifeless body of 21-year-old college student Ally Kostial, still carrying her phone, her purse, her wallet. It wasn't a robbery. It was something darker. Police were stunned. Who could want this bright, smiling young woman dead? And why? This is the story of how a small college town uncovered one of its darkest secrets. July 2019, Oxford, Mississippi, a small but lively town known for Ole Miss, the University of Mississippi. Students filled the streets, coffee shops buzzed, and weekends brought music, laughter, and the energy of youth. Among those students was Ally Kostial, a 21-year-old senior. To everyone who knew her, Ally was more than just a student. She was radiant, full of life, and always smiling. Originally from St. Louis, Missouri, Ally had come to Ole Miss for her degree in marketing. She wasn't just focused on academics, she was everywhere. She joined fitness classes, taught yoga, attended campus events, and loved hiking. She often posted pictures of sunsets and nature, captions filled with hope and positivity. Friends described her as the girl who could light up an entire room just by walking in. Ally's family remembered her as a dreamer. She wanted to travel the world, inspire others with fitness and wellness, and maybe one day start her own business. Her father once said, she wasn't just studying marketing, she was marketing happiness itself. But beneath the brightness, Ally had her struggles. Like many young students, she was learning how to balance studies, friendships, relationships, and the pressures of college life. In her second year at Ole Miss, Ally met a fellow student, Brandon Theesfeld. Their relationship was complicated from the beginning. It wasn't a traditional boyfriend-girlfriend relationship, but more of an on-again, off-again connection. Ally often shared her frustrations with friends. Brandon could be charming one moment and cold the next. He sometimes disappeared for weeks, only to return with late-night texts asking her to meet. Her friends warned her, he's not good for you, Ally. But Ally believed in giving people chances. She believed people could change. On that warm Friday evening, Ally joined her friends for a night out in Oxford. She laughed, danced, and enjoyed the summer night like any other student. Around 11:00 p.m., she left the bar. CCTV cameras captured her walking calmly through the square. No one knew then. This would be the last time she was seen alive. Later that night, her phone record showed a series of messages between Ally and Brandon. He wanted to meet her outside town, near Sardis Lake, a secluded area surrounded by woods and silence. Ally agreed to meet him. Perhaps she thought they were going to talk, to fix what was broken, or simply to clear the air. But when she arrived at Sardis Lake in the dark of night, something went terribly wrong. Gunshots shattered the silence. Ally was shot multiple times. 11 bullets tore through her young body. No one was there to hear her final cry. No one came to help. Only the trees, the lake, and the night sky stood witness to what happened. Her killer left her there, lifeless, under the open sky. Investigators immediately turned to Ally's phone. The messages, the last calls, the digital trail, all pointed toward one name, Brandon Theesfeld, and with that, the case of a smiling, kind-hearted girl turned into one of the darkest murder mysteries Oxford had ever seen. Who was Brandon Theesfeld? Why was Ally still connected to him, despite his toxic behavior? And what really happened at Sardis Lake that night? The answers would come, but they would reveal a story darker than anyone expected. Within hours, the news spread like wildfire. Ole Miss student found dead near Sardis Lake. The town was in shock. Her friends couldn't believe it. Her professors were heartbroken, and her family, back in Missouri, was devastated beyond words. To outsiders, Ally's life seemed perfect. A beautiful girl in college, friends all around, and a promising future ahead. But deep inside, she was struggling with something that many of her closest friends would later describe as a toxic relationship. The name behind that struggle was Brandon Theesfeld. Brandon was also a student at Ole Miss, the son of a wealthy Texas family. Outwardly, he was charismatic, confident, and well-dressed, the kind of young man who could easily attract attention. But underneath, friends and acquaintances described him differently: arrogant, entitled, and often cold. Some even recalled him bragging about his family's money and showing little respect for women. Ally and Brandon's relationship was complicated. They were not officially dating, but their bond stretched across years, filled with late-night messages, sudden disappearances, and emotional manipulation. One of Ally's friends said, "It wasn't a real relationship. It was more like Brandon controlled when and how he wanted to see her." On Friday, July 19th, 2019, Ally spent the evening with friends in Oxford. She danced, she smiled, she laughed, like any other college student enjoying the summer night. But as the night grew late, her phone lit up again. It was Brandon. He wanted to meet her outside of town, near Sardis Lake, an isolated spot, quiet and hidden in the darkness. Brandon left her there, lifeless, alone in the night. He didn't call for help. He didn't show remorse. He simply drove away. The next morning, July 20th, 2019, a Lafayette County Sheriff's deputy patrolling Sardis Lake stumbled upon a horrifying scene. A young woman's body lay on the ground, riddled with bullets. Her purse was still with her. Her phone was nearby. It was immediately clear this was no robbery gone wrong. The victim was soon identified as Alexandria Ally Kostial. Why did Brandon do it? What evidence would the police uncover? And how would a shocking arrest just days later expose the truth behind Ally's final night? News spread quickly across campus and beyond. Ole Miss student found dead at Sardis Lake. Police began retracing Ally's last steps. They checked her phone. They studied her recent messages. And one name kept appearing again and again: Brandon Theesfeld. Within hours, the hunt for Ally's killer had begun. For reasons we may never fully understand, Ally agreed. Maybe she wanted closure. Maybe she still had hope for him. Or maybe she just wanted to talk one last time. Sometime after midnight, Ally drove out of Oxford towards Sardis Lake. The streets grew quieter as she left the town behind. Surveillance cameras later confirmed her car heading in that direction. She arrived at the lake, a place that in daylight looks peaceful, but at night becomes eerily silent. Only the sound of water, the rustle of trees, and the occasional hum of insects filled the air. There, under the darkness of night, Ally met Brandon. What exactly happened between them in those final moments remains partly unknown. But investigators pieced together what they could from evidence and later Brandon's own admissions. At some point during their meeting, Brandon pulled out a gun. He fired multiple shots at Ally, 11 bullets in total. The silence of the lake was shattered by gunfire. Ally's body fell to the ground. She was just 21. Police traced Ally's last digital footprints. Messages showed she was in touch with Brandon the very night she died. Friends confirmed their complicated relationship, and many admitted they were worried about him for months. Detectives wasted no time. They went straight to Brandon's apartment near the Ole Miss campus. But by then, he was gone. Instead, investigators discovered something chilling: a handwritten note left in his room. It hinted at guilt, despair, and a struggle with dark thoughts. One line read almost like a confession. 2 days later, police tracked Brandon's movements using his phone and credit card. Surveillance cameras showed him at a gas station in Memphis, Tennessee. What stood out? He was driving a dark Ford F-150 pickup truck. Detectives immediately issued a bolo. Be on the lookout. Within hours, the truck was spotted. On July 22, 2019, just 2 days after Ally's body was found, police moved in. At a gas station near Memphis, officers surrounded Brandon's truck. He was armed. A .40 caliber pistol was found inside. Ballistics later confirmed it was the same weapon that killed Ally. Brandon Theesfeld was arrested on the spot. He looked stunned, but he said nothing. News broke quickly. Ole Miss student arrested in connection with Ally Kostial's murder. When Brandon appeared in court, his appearance shocked many. Once the confident, well-dressed student, now in an orange jumpsuit, silent and pale. Prosecutors presented the evidence. Phone messages linking him to Ally. His note discovered in his apartment. The murder weapon in his truck. Surveillance footage tracing his movements. Every piece pointed directly at him. But the question still haunted everyone. Why? Investigators suggested that Ally wanted more from Brandon. A real relationship, a future. Brandon, however, didn't want that. Their texts showed tension, rejection, and emotional conflict. Some reports claimed Ally may have been pregnant at one point, though this was never confirmed publicly. But what became clear was this: Brandon wanted to end things on his terms, and in the most violent way possible. At Ole Miss, the news was devastating. Students gathered at candlelight vigils, remembering Ally's bright smile and loving heart. One of her professors said, "Ally was destined for greatness. Her death is a tragedy that words cannot describe." Her family sat quietly in the front row, their faces marked with grief, but also determination. Determination to see justice served. In August 2021, after 2 years of waiting, Brandon Theesfeld finally pleaded guilty to first-degree murder. The judge sentenced him to life in prison. As he stood in court, Brandon said, "I am sincerely sorry for the pain I've caused." But for Ally's parents, no apology could ever bring their daughter back. With Brandon Theesfeld sentenced to life in prison in August 2021, many felt justice had been served. But for Ally's parents, friends, and the community, the pain never truly ended. Every July, the anniversary of Ally's death brings back memories, not just of her tragic murder, but of the life she lived, the dreams she carried, and the future she never got to see. At the University of Mississippi, professors and classmates created memorials in her honor. A scholarship fund was established in Ally's name, supporting young women pursuing leadership and academic excellence. Her sorority sisters remembered her as a light in every room. Social media became filled with tributes, stories, and photos of Ally's smiling face. Her family said, "We want people to remember Ally for the beautiful, vibrant life she lived, not just the way she died." The murder of Ally Kostial raised difficult but important questions. Relationships and warning signs. How ignoring toxic behaviors and red flags can have dangerous consequences. Campus safety. Why colleges must improve support systems for vulnerable students. Mental health and violence. How untreated issues can spiral into tragedy. True crime experts often point to Ally's case as a lesson in understanding how seemingly normal relationships can hide deep dysfunction. Though the case was rooted in a small Mississippi town, it captured attention far beyond. From America to Europe, true crime communities followed every update. Documentaries, podcasts, and news specials revisited her story, ensuring it would never be forgotten. To this day, YouTube comments and social media posts pour in. "I didn't know Ally, but her story broke my heart. She deserved so much better." At Brandon's sentencing, Ally's mother addressed the court. Her voice cracked, but her words echoed through the silent room. "Our daughter should be alive today, finishing her dreams, building her life. Instead, we carry her in memory. Brandon, you stole her future, but you will never erase her from this world." The courtroom was filled with tears. Even the judge paused before speaking. Today, Ally is remembered not as a victim, but as a daughter, a friend, and a young woman who wanted to make a difference. Her life, though short, continues to inspire conversations about safety, awareness, and the need to cherish every moment with those we love. On July 20th, 2019, a young woman's life was stolen in the quiet woods near Sardis Lake. But Ally's story did not end there. Through the grief of her family, the pursuit of justice, and the memories she left behind, Ally Kostial lives on. Her case remains a haunting reminder. Sometimes the most dangerous people are the ones we think we know best. This was the story of Ally Kostial. If you want more true crime cases, subscribe now, because the next story might be darker than you imagine.